Hello everybody, this is going to be a bit of a late report, but better late than never, as I always say. Okay, this one's going to be a little crazy. Today we got a science story for you. And before we begin, I'm not going to lie. Some of this, I don't even begin to understand. I'm a philosopher and an internet journalist. I am not much of a scientist, so bear with me here. A team of Russian scientists claim to have made a time machine that can move tiny particles a few seconds into the past, moving small particles into the opposite direction of time's arrow. As per a Daily Mail report, the experiment uses electrons. Now, what I do understand is that electrons are negatively charged particles of matter. And as an analogy, and I understand analogies, imagine a game of pool, and all of the balls are in the break position. They're in the little triangle. Alright? Now imagine breaking the pool balls. You know, you hit them with the pool stick, and there they go, only to replace them back into the break position later. The balls in this analogy are the electrons. Time is just a metric for measuring universal change of the positions of atomic particles and orbital shift. If one were to move particles back into their previous position, then those particles would be, in essence, traveling time. That's the basic idea of the experiment. Now here's where things get a little brainier. The experiment was done with a quantum computer. They say that they have basically defied the second law of thermodynamics, that everything tends towards decay. The time machine, they say, is made up of qubits or qubits, Q-U-B-I-T-S. What is a qubit? Well, let's find out. Apparently there are units of information described by a 1 and a 0, in other words, binary. Either that or a mixed superposition of both that can be stored on an electron. Storing in binary onto an electron. Phew! Like I said, not all of this I understand. There's quite a bit of it I don't. This is a series of quotes from them. Or no, not a series of quotes. This is this was said of the experiment. It says, in the experiment, an evolution program was launched which caused the qubits to become an increasingly complex, changing patterns of zeros and ones. During this process, order was lost, just as it is when the pool balls are struck and scattered with a cue. Another program then modified the state of the quantum computer in such a way that it evolved backwards from chaos to order. The state of the qubits was rewound back to its original starting point. Crazy. To someone simply watching this experiment, time will appear to move backwards. Now for a few quotes from the experiment. We have artificially created a state that evolves in a direction opposite to that of the thermodynamic arrow of time. The time machine described in the journal Scientific Reports consists of a rudimentary quantum computer made up of electron qubits. In the experiment on evolution program was launched, which caused the qubits to become an increasingly complex changing pattern of zeros and ones. During this process, order was lost. Another program then modified the state of the quantum computer in such a way that it evolved backwards from chaos to order. The state of qubits was rewound back to its original starting point. Our algorithm could be updated and used to test programs written for quantum computers and eliminate noise and errors, according to Dr. Lesevic. Not to say anything racist, but these Russians, man. Like, anytime you hear a science story from Russia, it's always something really bizarre. This is kind of cool, but you hear all sorts of Russian scientists doing other crazy shit, like making two-headed dogs, or like growing a guy a new penis, grafting little skin off of his wrist. This is actually kind of cool, though. Basically sending particles of electrons back in time, essentially. That's actually pretty fucking cool. So I don't understand everything, but I understand enough that I know that time is basically just a metric of measuring changes in particles and orbital shift of planets and stuff. i.e. measuring movement and such. Movement through space. But anyway, yeah, there you go. I don't got much more to say about that, other than that it's just actually really cool. Anyway.